Welcome back, Generation Truth. This is Sherry Watts, your instructor for today. Turn in your book to the section Rejoice in the Blessing, the video discussion of Rejoice in the Blessing. A sense of blessedness comes from a change of heart, not from more blessings. You'll sense a blessing when you have a change of heart, by Mason Cooley. That quote came to heart because sometimes we're wanting change. But when we want to see blessedness, it's when our heart changes. So rejoice in the blessing is based upon the beatitudes that God expects from us. And Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, "Oh, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my territory, that your hand would be with me, and that you would keep me from evil, that I may not cause pain." So God granted him what he requested. 1 Chronicles 4:10. The blessedness is in when we want to serve others as Christ has served us. The Spirit of God will align who you are and your true character to God's expectations before you can partake of the blessings Jesus is declaring. There's a prerequisite to receive the blessings that we're going to be talking about and to be able to rejoice in the blessing. And that's when the Spirit of God aligns you with what God expects from you. Most great things come after considerable testing. And for some, the testing would be considered suffering. And we're going to find that the blessing that Jesus is talking about in his Sermon on the Mount always follows a time that we would call testing, a time of suffering, where we have to give up what we want and our own individuality to serve Christ and to serve others. There's a blessing in poverty. Matthew 5:3 says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Just as the poor needs financial assistance, so does the spiritually poor need spiritual assistance. When you come to a place that you realize, and you're there, Generation Truth, because you're listening to this video, that you're spiritually poor, you're spiritually bankrupt, you need more. Each day we deplete our spiritual resources, and each day we have to be filled up. That's why we went through prayer first, the Bible, spiritual gifts, and now rejoice in the blessing. The blessings in pain. Matthew 5:4. God blesses those who mourn, for they will be comforted. God makes those who mourn happy and envied by placing his master's grace upon their lives. Christ in essence says, until you are so grieved by what is going on in the world, and it breaks your heart as it breaks the heart of God, nothing will change. Nothing will change. So he tells us that we're blessed when we grieve, when we mourn about the sins of this world that's ravishing the world, and it become a heart just like him. There's a blessing in humility. Matthew 5:5. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. The blessing in humility is to lay down your own life for the lives of many. Isn't that what Christ did? He says when you lay down your life, and it doesn't mean literally lay down and die, but what he's saying is lay down what you think, what you want, how you feel, what will make you comfortable for the lives of others. He says then you will receive a blessing. And this blessing is spiritual maturity. It's congratulations. It's finally you're made. It's to be envied. It's saying that you're fortunate when you do these things that God has called for you to do. The blessing in necessity. Matthew 5:6. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. You are your happiest and most prosperous if you are hungry and thirsty for righteousness. When you no longer want to tolerate, no longer want to blend in, no longer want to just get by, you want to hunger and thirst for righteousness. You're not satisfied until righteousness rain down. Craving what God calls righteousness begins in the heart. You have to start in your heart. These blessings are going to cost you something, but I can guarantee you'll get way more in return when you rejoice in the blessing. Now, let's go to our book. Go to Rejoice in the Blessing, Part 1. Read that through. Spend time with, if you're in small group, spend time with your small group. Individual, read it through. Take your time. There's no hurry. You have a whole week to read, or however long it is before your small group comes back together. And then don't forget to do the reflection questions. We have several reflection questions in there to get you to thinking on how you can manifest this blessing in your life. This has been your instructor, Sherry Watts, and we'll see you again on this journey. God bless you.